Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul Mackay from Analogue Wonderland, and if you've ever wanted to shoot an expired film and get a free Big Mac in Italy in 2005, then this is your chance, because today, a Wonderbox first, in our film subscription box we have some expired Fujifilm, and today we're going to get into the detail of how you can shoot it to get fantastic images. Quick one before we get started. If you like film photography and want to see more videos like this one, film reviews, tips and tricks, that kind of thing, then please do make sure you're subscribed to our channel and notifications are turned on. Thank you so much. So, today we have a couple of things to talk about. One is the base film stock itself, Fujifilm Superia Xtra 400, and two is the fact that it's expired. And what I want to do, because this is the very first expired film in the Wonderbox, is to take a little bit of a step back, because there is a huge industry, and if you go on eBay you will find countless posts about this and opportunities to buy expired film. So we're going to talk about the common pitfalls of expired film, but why they are also quite fun to shoot, what they can be good for, things to watch out for, and that kind of thing. So first of all, this particular film in the Wonderbox is expired in 2005 but has been cold stored. So the one thing I will say is that this is not going to be the craziest expired film you'll ever be able to shoot. And there might be some effects, we'll come on to that in a minute, but it has been cold stored and it has only been 16 years since it expired. So those are the two caveats for this expired film versus others. But let's talk about Fujifilm Superia Xtra 400 first. And it's helpful to do this with reference to Kodak's Ultramax in particular. Back in the 90s and earlier, when Kodak and Fujifilm were the main colour rivals, they often brought out films that were meant to compete in terms of price and film speed, predominantly, and then they would talk about the differences and try and persuade people to shoot one versus the other. And some of those differences are brilliant generalisations of what those brands can do, one versus the other. They're not perfect, they often depend upon lighting situations, but they're useful to know and understand as a baseline. So, for example, Superia Xtra 400, just like Kodak's Ultramax's 400, launched and originally intended to be at a very similar price point. Now, in the past year, Superia Xtra's price has risen dramatically. It's very difficult for me to get hold of it anywhere in the world. I often have to import it from Asia at much greater prices than were available 2 years ago. There are rumours that Fujifilm have discontinued it. That's not been confirmed by either Fujifilm or any of my official suppliers. So what I hope is that this is a COVID shortage at the moment and things will resume. But that being said, at the moment, unfortunately, our base Superior is more expensive than Ultramax, but it was intended to be priced at a similar point with a similar level of performance. So this is premium consumer. So it's not designed necessarily for professionals, it is designed for premium consumers. It has 4 colour layers, and in fact, if you see the packaging, 4th colour layer is called out massively, and actually it was even when it was first launched. The 4th colour layer is a cyan layer that Fujifilm say makes a huge difference to rendering colours accurately under fluorescent lighting, i.e. indoors. Now, I'm not entirely sure about that, I've never tested it specifically, but what you can see very commonly is that Fujifilm often looks greener or bluer in the same situations versus Kodak looking slightly redder, slightly oranger, slightly warmer. Now that is a big generalisation, but that is what you'll see on the internet time and time again, and it is borne out by some of the more technical details. Now, to be more specific on when you like to see this, if you underexpose shadows, you are likely to see a green tinge in the Fujifilm's film. So if you shoot this, underexpose it, you'll notice in the shadows it looks slightly greener. Now, if you expose correctly or more properly or slightly brighter, that tinge does slightly disappear. If you then take it into well-lit sunlight, Kodak will look slightly warmer, Fujifilm will look slightly cooler, which means slightly bluer across the spectrum. And what this means is that if you shoot a portrait in a forest with sort of greens in the background on a lovely spring day, for example, Kodak will warm it up, Fujifilm will cool it down, but you will get very vibrant greens, really strong, beautiful blues. And a lot of people love that look, specifically with a film like this. Because it is ISO 400, you can take it outside, you can shoot it indoors, you can use lighting, you'll take it all over the place. And across a roll, you will really notice the lovely sharpness, the lovely greens and blues that you can get when exposed correctly. That is a very general point, and I'm sure you will all have photos where Fujifilm looks very warm and Kodak look very cool, but like for like, same developer, same scan settings, same everything like that. That is what you tend to see. There is also a Superia premium range available in Asia. We import it from some of our distributors, and that gives an extra level of clarity and sharpness. But honestly, you will not tend to notice a problem with Superia Xtra. The grain structure is pretty small, the resolving power is pretty good, the contrast is excellent without being overwhelming. So you're likely to get great shots out of this, whether it's a point and shoot you're using or an SLR or a high range rangefinder or anything like that. This is going to be a great film for every day. Now, let's talk about expired film. So if I take a step back, there is a lot of expired film available in the world on eBay and dealers who specialise in it, simply because a lot of film is being produced, and if it's not shot by a certain period, it expires, but it doesn't go off. It's not like food or something like that. It can still be used. It won't disintegrate, so you can still load it in your camera, generally speaking, and shoot it totally normally, unless it's been kept in very strange conditions. Now, whether you get usable results is down to a few different things, the most important one being how it was stored. If something is stored from the 60s and it's been stored at room temperature, or it's been left in the sun or in a car boot or something like that, the chemicals will degrade much, much faster than if it is kept cool. The ultimate is keeping things frozen. By all accounts, films over 20, 30 years, 40, 50 years even, there's minimal degradation of the chemicals if it's kept frozen. Refrigeration is obviously somewhere between those, and it does also depend a little bit on the stock quality. Cheaper films will not age so well. More premium films with more premium ingredients will tend to age better. More modern films will age better. An expired film from the noughties, 20 years old, will still look better than an expired film from the 80s would have done in the noughties, because again, things got better, stabilizers improved, general conditions and understanding of film have improved. So this film, that will have been manufactured in the noughties and has been cold stored for 20 odd years, will still have fantastic chemical quality. However, that cannot be guaranteed after a certain point. And every chemical degrades slightly differently. And think of it like, when food goes off, it doesn't go off in the same way every single time. You leave 2 cakes out or something, they won't look the same a week later. It'd be disgusting either way, but everything degrades slightly differently in slightly different ways, and it's not at all predictable. So, the things that you will notice with expired films, or you will tend to notice, is that they get less sensitive to light. So that is as the dyes and as the silver halide in black and white and other components that are sensitive to light, their sensitivity degrades over time. The common thing you will see on the internet is to overexpose by 1 stop for every decade of expiration. So this is 25 years old, so that would say overexposed by 2 stops. I wouldn't do that with this film because it's been cold stored, because it's good quality film. So I would probably overexpose by 1 stop, no more. But that's what you'll see time and time again. And if you don't know the quality it's being stored, if you don't know the quality of the film in the first place, it's not a bad place to start. But as with every internet rule of thumb, it's not 100% accurate. It's probably just slightly more accurate than inaccurate, which often is all you can do with things like this. Anytime that you buy on eBay, or anytime that you buy from a source you're not sure where it's been from, or anytime you find a film in your granddad's attic, it will be a case-by-case basis. The best thing to do if you're shooting expired film and you don't know the source is to do a test roll. So you shoot a little bit, cut it, develop it separately. Difficult to do unless you have home developing at home or you're near a lab who can deal with this kind of thing, but you can test emulsions in that way. And if things are stored together, you can get a bag altogether of the same emulsion in the same condition. You probably can shoot one and then account for the others. But to bring it back to the Wonder Box, we got these films from our good friend Miles, who runs Expired Film Club. You have a discount in your Wonder Box for September and October. That's where these came from, cold stored from the start, and he has a fantastic range of films, and he will be able to guide you as well on the condition that he sourced them from and any factors or adjustments that you need to make in your shooting to bring something to life. So the sample photos we're showing you with this film are from this particular batch. No guarantees though. If yours has some colour shifts, then that is the life of expired film. And those are the things you see. So you see the degradation in sensitivity, you see colour shifts, you might see contrast drop or sometimes increase, but typically it drops. My favourite ones are the ones actually where, it drops, the saturation was faded, the exposure fades, and you just get this really lovely vintage, slightly washed out look that works really well in twilight, portraits, really, really gorgeous things. I'd be unlikely to aim this at really vivid scenes because it's unlikely to capture that as well. Although having said that, it's a cold store, 25 years, this might still work. The other good news is that these 3 packs come with a free Big Mac in Italy, Oh, no, hang on, the promotion finished in November 2003. So unfortunately, I mean, we're breaking up the 3 packs to give you all 1 roll each. So don't worry though, you haven't missed out, unless you have a time machine. I mean, if you have a time machine, it would be a strange use to just go and get a free Big Mac from Italy. I'm sure there's other things to do, but you know, you might be hungry as you do something else in 2003. There we go, so free Big Mac. And again, I love this because this goes to show the kind of promotions that used to exist in the film world. So Fujifilm had a tie-up with McDonald's in Italy, presumably to encourage people to buy the 3-pack of Superia instead of Ultramax. Maybe there was some Ultramax Burger King relationship going on at the same time. Who knows? We can only go back in time and ask. So we have a fantastic Fujifilm stock, a premium consumer stock, ISO 400, very flexible, fantastic quality, cold stored for 25 years. Let's see how it performs at the end of it. As I said, my Wonderbox film, I think I'm gonna put it in one of my more premium point and shoots or an SLR so that I can have a bit more control versus just one of my entry-level point and shoots. In my head I have this idea of something slightly vintagey, something slightly muted. So I'm thinking portraits, I'm thinking late night sort of dusk kind of lighting, outdoors still while we have enough light. Though you might have noticed a theme the last 2 weeks I've put in ISO 400. It's September in the UK. I'm hedging my bets here on what the lighting is going to be like, but that's what I have in my mind. I'm not going to be using it for anything that is once in a lifetime, just in case with expired film something has gone slightly wrong or a part of it has degraded more than usual. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what the results are. I do hope there is an effect versus shooting fresh, but honestly we will have to see. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, particularly because this is the first expired one we've ever done, then please do drop a question below. If I can't answer them, then I'll pass them over to Miles at Expired Film Club, who I'm sure will be really happy to answer you. It is his passion, it is particularly this world of film photography, and it's much better to talk to him than finding them in car boot sales if you want some kind of reliability and some kind of continuity of expired film. Thank you so much, that's all from me now, and I will see you again next month.